Hello, my name is John Standifer from SAS. Today I'm going to present to you visual analytics, specifically health economics outcomes research and using visual analytics. Let me first briefly define what health economics outcomes research, HEOR. It is the process whereby pharmaceutical companies use data to fully understand the economic value of their products provided in the healthcare market, demonstrate evidence of their product's superior efficacy and safety to providers, healthcare decision makers, and to payers. Helps them to identify competitive advantage and to identify potential additional indications and therapies for their products. The data is longitudinal and multidimensional, and it describes the care, cost insights, and risk mitigation to health providers, payers, physicians, and most importantly, to patients. What we want to be able to do is pull this data in and identify and act on subpopulations, patients at risk, and improve healthcare and health outcomes to the underserved patient populations. Let me give you a brief level set before we get into the demonstration. The demonstration we're looking at is specific to the health outcomes research of diabetes patients. Possible side effects of diabetes drug therapy are increased cholesterol levels. So the measure we're going to be looking at is our cholesterol ratio. It's defined here in the slide, a description of what's good, bad, or otherwise. In the bottom left corner, you can see that the ratio is calculated by taking your total cholesterol level and dividing it by your HDL. 4:1 is the standard. 3.5 is what you want to strive to. Anything above a 4, the higher above 4, the more risk. So now we're going to move into the demonstration part of this. So I'm going to log on to Visual Analytics Explorer. So a little music while you wait for this to come up. Splash screen. First thing I have to do is select some data. So I'm going to select this. And I open up Visual Analytics Explorer. So what we're looking on the left-hand side is all the data elements. We have categories, hierarchies, time, dimensions. So the first thing I want to look at is kind of our A1C measure over time. So I'm going to grab my date, and then I'm going to change my measure to be A1C, blood sugar level, and aggregate this by average. So we want to see the average blood sugar over time. So we can see that most patients, or all our patients, 350,000 diabetes patients, start up above 6.6% blood sugar level, which is not good. We want to get them down here in the 5 and below. So the trend line is encouraging around that. What we also want to do, we can really quickly see, this is a quick snapshot of the whole population over time. And then with 2 clicks, one click down, one click show forecast, we're going to forecast out to the future how these patients are going to progress over time. Really quickly, what this is predictive values of the measure A1C over time, and we're looking at an exponential smoothing with a dampening trend. Statistics, forecasting, and predictive algorithms. Forecasting specifically, in this example, forecasts the percentage of where these patients will be with their blood sugars if they continue on their therapy. So that's interesting, except that we have the whole market. We want to see how our drug, Why Are You So Sassy, where that stands within this market. I'm going to pull out drug type or drug name and pull it into my filter area, drop it in here. So that shows me all the drugs that are out there. The size of this bar on the left-hand side shows you how many patients or the percentage of the population that fits it. So some of these are pretty small. Generic is obviously the largest. Why Are You So Sassy? We have a pretty good market share. So if I want to see specifically, let's see specifically how generics are doing. The generics are doing pretty well. We have a little bit of volatility here, but the trend is going down into the 5s, which is good. About 6, and then in the future, getting down into the 5s. Let's compare and contrast that versus ours. So let's unselect this, and let's select Why Are You So Sassy? We'll update the graph that way. You can see of all the patients, we have about 13% of the population, and you can see our trend is stronger because we start at the same spot here, 6.8%, but when we get to the real end of our real data, 2 years of data, we're at 4.5% of our actual. It's right there. And then where we're getting forecasted out is even better. So I'm going to do a correlation analysis. Let's look at patient age, blood sugar, and let's look at the cholesterol ratio. We're just going to do a quick correlation analysis by dragging these over here, and it's automatically going to create a correlation. I like to change the colors so that red means bad. Take a closer look at that. So I'm just going to change my gradients so that green is good, red is bad. Same correlation analysis here. So we have all these different measures in here. Here's our cholesterol ratio based on blood sugar level. So this is a correlation that's not a good correlation because it's strongly correlated, the two are. And let's take a look at this subset. The rest of these are green, which means there's not really any strong correlation. Some of these are financial metrics, so a final out-of-pocket payments is strongly correlated to patients out of the pocket. So that makes sense. It should be. Those are by definition collinear. So let's look at this hot pocket here. All I have to do is double click on this link, and it's going to open this specific box, kind of a regression line here. Let me resize this so we could take a better look. This color again. So the same. So we have this. We're looking at the same colors. Okay. So again, we have some strong correlated pockets here of cholesterol ratio and A1C. But remember, we don't really care if it's below 6, 5, and 4 is good. If you remember from the slideshow, cholesterol ratio of 4 is good. 5 and above is bad. So if we look here at this one pocket right on the trend line, this is not good news for us. This is a subpopulation that's at risk because our cholesterol is at a 6 and our blood sugar is at between 8.3 and 8.5. So there's 10,000 patients in this subset that we need to do a further deep dive into. So the best way to do this is just to kind of export that data, and you just right click on that hot slot and select export that data, and then say and it'll save it off onto my hard drive or off onto the server somewhere so I can take a look at these specific patients. Okay, so really quickly I've honed in on a possible safety issue within this 10,000 group subpopulation within the 350,000 patients that we're looking at. So let's do some visual analytics across the multi-dimensions within this data. So I'm going to pull out this hierarchy, and it's looking at things by age group. I'm going to change my measure to A1C, our blood sugar level. Because it's A1C, we want aggregation to be average. So we have some bar charts here. So I'm going to change my visualization type to a box plot. And now it tells us a little bit more. The first bar chart didn't tell us much. The box plot is a little bit more informational. And you can see here that our 60 and over is our biggest box, and it's our highest level of average of A1C blood level. So let's click into this box and expand it based on our hierarchy. And we can see here that Medicaid Part D is probably our biggest population, or close to it. So let's click into that one, and it's telling me that I've reached the end of my hierarchy. Is my analysis done? No, not by a long ways. I can quickly edit this hierarchy and change it on the fly. So let's say I want to look at it by, not just by payer type, but I want to look at the drug. So I want to see how Why Are You So Sassy is doing, how it's doing across payer types. And I also want to look at, maybe the payer and plan that's helping pay for the Medicaid Part D drug. So let's pull that out into the hierarchy and update it. My hierarchy has been updated, and I can go right down the same drill path where I got stuck before in Medicaid Part D, and it pops open to what I've just added into there, which is the specific drug names. I can actually look at a table. So to easily add a table to this analysis, I just click on this table, and the table is open. And what I find interesting is you could actually stack up these bar charts as the table direction just by changing the box direction to horizontal from vertical, and now we have everything looks the same. Our drugs are in order and our bar charts are in order. So the one that we care about the most is Why Are You So Sassy? So if I double click into Why Are You So Sassy, now it's going to get really, really big, because now we're looking at every single payer group, payer plan, etc. that the Part D Medicare comes through the payments. Interesting, or more viewable, I should say, instead of interesting. I'm going to sort this by descending average. So now the top ones for our drug within the plans are going to pop up top. So this gets a little bit more telling. So now these ones at the top of the graph, I'm going to zoom in here. Just continue to zoom in and go to the top. And these are the ones that are driving the prescriptions through Medicare Part D. Within these plans, there's an opportunity. Quickly, I can kind of hone in on where our opportunity for growth within these specific plans. So what I want to leave you today with visual analytics for health economics outcomes research. Have some fun and make your data dance. So what I have here is a bubble chart. And on the bubble chart's vertical axis, on the y-axis, we have our cholesterol ratio. So we want to track that over time. We have on the bottom axis, we have our A1C blood sugar level. We have our drugs here on the legend. So here's our drug. Why are you so sassy? The last thing we're going to do is add in the prescription date for it to trend. And we're going to play this. And what we'll see over time is how well our drug, Why Are You So Sassy, does over time. And we'll do this to a little bit of music. So here we go. So you can see it's got a pretty good beat that you can dance to, and the trend goes down and across like you want. VA's freaking awesome.